Hey friends, it's Amar. How are you? I have another video for you, obviously. I want to talk about a little bit of, I guess, what I would call intel from my recent client sessions. Once a year during this time of year, I open my books for tarot forecasts for the upcoming year. So it's mid-October when I'm recording this, but like with all of my content, it's evergreen. So it doesn't matter when you're finding this. So whenever you found this, just give yourself a few minutes to watch it and see if it rings any bells. But I've been doing the tarot readings for the upcoming year, and I've been doing them for a couple of weeks now. So I have some intel. I have some field notes, I guess, to report back to you. And the theme that I am seeing coming up time and time again is this is cleanup time. One of the lessons that I've been sharing a lot lately is, who you really are or who you had to become is not who you really are. And this idea that we come into this life, a life on this planet as a human, and there's all sorts of things that we forget about when we come into this body. And the primary thing that we forget about is our eternal infinite creatorship, our godlike nature. And so we spend a lot of time in our human experience, especially in the early years or sort of the first part of the experience, just kind of like testing and pushing and, what are my limits? Where are my boundaries? What are my abilities? And what we learn really, really quickly is that, oh, on this planet, you say one thing and do another, or you mean yes, but you say no, right? We learn all sorts of coping mechanisms. And what those coping mechanisms are depends on the individual. How long we utilize them depends on the individual, and how healthy or unhealthy they are also depends on the individual. Suffice it to say, who you are is not a coping mechanism. And the identity that you have been holding up as true, I would assert probably for the majority of your life is also most likely not entirely accurate. And so this past year, 2025, actually the past 18 months, but really it kind of kicked into high gear in this year. We've been peeling off all of these layers, the layers of the created self, the layers of the ego self, the small self, the restricted self, however you want to describe it. And what has emerged in response to that is more and more of your true self, your core self, your eternal self, just called the higher self, has been able to descend into your form and into your field and take up a whole lot more room. Your field of energy is now running frequencies of light and of energy that are really, really high and really, really next level and super pure. That's why it has felt so intense, is because there is this like pure, think of like a lake or a body of water that's kind of murky and muddy and mucky and it's kind of dirty and it needs an infusion of pure, clean water. And then they open the floodgates and here comes that infusion of pure, clean water. The first thing that happens is all of that muck and all of that gunk and the funky stuff in it gets stirred up and pushed to the surface. But if you just continue to allow the infusion of that pure water, it will eventually push all the gunk up and out. That's where we have been in the process of receiving this infusion of the pure self, the true self, and it's pushing all the old stuff up to the surface. Now, when you're in the midst of this can feel really overwhelming. I personally, the past couple of days have been like in one of those like what the WTF moments. Like one minute I'm flying high on top of the world, like hell yeah, let's go, come on. And then the next minute I'm on the floor in the fetal position, rolling around, just begging God to please make it stop. I understand the intensity, but there is a reason. There is a method to the madness. Nothing is wasted in a creative, generative reality such as the one that we inhabit. So, really, what it's been about is letting go of who you had to become so that who you have always been can really emerge and take center stage. And what that means for us collectively right now is we are in cleanup mode. 2026 and beyond is a turning of the wheel. 2026 is a pivot. And I've already started receiving intel on 2026. And the message that they keep sharing with me over and over and over is 2026 is all about truth in action. Not only will the old ways not work anymore, but the old ways will actually now hold you back. It's kind of like you have to just imagine that you're in a course and you need to get a certification to assure that you are able to help your clients or your customers or the people you're going to be working with. So you go through the course, you learn what you need to do, you get your certification or your degree or what have you, and now you are free, you are approved to go out there and help other people. Well, if you perhaps have not done all of your work properly, or maybe there were some corners you were cutting or some things you were kind of shoving to the side saying, oh, I'll get to that later. Later is now. All of the things that you have been kind of, oh, I don't know if I want to deal with that. I'm not really ready to deal with that. I just kind of want to brush that aside. You can't anymore. We are at the point where whatever is incomplete, most likely, the reason that you have been holding yourself back and kind of pushing it to the side is there is some element of fear that you have been rooted into. Because the only reason that we would procrastinate or put something off is because the mind of the small self, the ego self, perceives that whatever it is that we are putting off, we can't do it. It's dangerous. It's too hard. It's too risky, whatever. And so the mind is going to do everything it can to just keep that incomplete and over there. Well, this is the problem with that idea. You, as a complete and total being, a whole being in your own divine right, because what you have wanted to be for so long, you already are. You already are powerful. You already are infinite. You already are one who possesses the abilities and the gifts that the creator itself possesses. And so, whatever it is that you have been holding yourself back from dealing with, tying up in a bow so that you can just set it aside, say, that's complete, check it off the list and move on, most likely it's because there's an element of fear. There's some belief that's active within you that tells you that this thing is dangerous and it must be avoided at all costs. Well, to operate from fear is old world. And we're in the new earth. And the new earth is not about moving from fear or allowing fear to command you to the degree that it immobilizes or incapacitates you. And the reason that it is so crucial that we do this cleanup now, and I'm going through it in my own way, there have been several things over the past few months that I just kept putting off and like saying, oh, I'll deal with it later, deal with it later, deal with it later, deal with it later. Well, later arrived yesterday. And so, well, a couple of days ago, actually. And so for the past 48 hours, it's felt like a whirlwind of activity has been stirred up in my field as I'm completing all of these things that have been asking for completion for quite some time, but I just wasn't willing to face them. Yesterday, I finally faced them, and this morning I woke up and there was this huge surge of energy that was now about, okay, what are we proceeding into next? Where are we going next? What's the next step on the journey? I was talking to my guides about this, and I was like, why all of a sudden do I feel this huge influx of energy? And they said, well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, 2026 is a pivot year. Up until 2025, we have been primarily dealing with the past, the history, the layers of identity that have been false and have been standing in our way. So we have been dismantling all of that. The dismantling and the clearing process essentially is coming to an end in this year of 2025, and 2026 represents the pivot as we begin to move towards this new reality, this new experience, and this new earth. Now, some of us are already in the new earth and we are showing the way, we are clearing the path, and we are ensuring that it is essentially ready when everybody else starts to arrive at this frequency. So we're sort of preparing the way. However, what 2026 means as we pivot. Some of us are pivoting towards the higher expression, and those who have decided not to awaken in this lifetime and be space holders for the old reality are turning towards the past or the illusion of the third dimension or the density of the third dimension, and they are going in a different direction. So, for anything that we have not completed, it creates a bottleneck. It's like you just have to check these things off your list. You just have to get it done. And until you've gotten it done and completed, all the things that come after it cannot come into your field because the old stuff is still clogging up the pipe. So, what this means is you have to take care of your stuff. Whatever the thing is that you have been putting off, that you have been avoiding, that you have been saying, I don't know if I really want to deal with this, right? We're pretending, la, 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 I can't hear you, I can't hear you. Well, the universe knows that you can hear it, and it knows that you're pretending that you can't. And it's not a punishment. It's not like you've been bad and now you're put in timeout. It's just a function of the reality where, oop, my timer just went off. A function of the reality where the bandwidth of energy that we are moving into as we inhabit this new earth reality is not compatible with the lower frequencies of fear and avoidance and delusion. It's like trying to put Windows 98 on your brand new computer. The two are just not going to function. They're not compatible. What this means for you is it's time. It's time. And if you're interested in help, if you need support, I am here. I can help you do that. But suffice it to say, if you've had this feeling of stop and start, push and pull, if you've had this feeling of like two steps forward, three steps back, most likely it's because you're trying to sidestep or circumvent or navigate your way around something that is incompatible with this new reality. And so, in order for you to fully anchor yourself into this new reality, i.e., untether and unattach from the old density, you got to do your work. You got to clean up your mess. You got to take care of the things that you have been avoiding because that is the thing that's holding you back because you are a sovereign being. And sovereignty is all about accountability and responsibility. And until you exercise and flex those muscles, you are holding yourself back. It's not a matter of right or wrong, good or bad. You are not being punished. You are not being judged. It's a matter of are you prepared? Have you done your work? There is the matter and the notion of correctness. 90 degrees is 90 degrees. 89 degrees is not correct. 91 degrees is not correct. And so until you reach the place within yourself that you are correct, i.e., what you say, what you do, and what you think are all aligned, and we're all moving towards the same direction in an integrated and embodied matter, the things that haven't been integrated, the things that haven't been embodied, the things that are still kind of hanging around holding you back, that's the stuff that's going to mess you up. So, whatever it is, and I bet you know what it is. I bet if you get honest with yourself and quiet and go within and really sit and witness and acknowledge, you're going to figure it out. I love you. See you soon.